Let's go back to the game on Saturday. England and Nigeria. Now, that was first half, very convincing. Second half, okay, we still came out on top, but Conor, there was glimpses there where the likes of Sterling weren't doing it for me, or Rashford, or maybe, Welbeck didn't have much time, I guess, but it's just one of those performances where, in all fairness to Southgate, the starting lineup looks great, but as we've said before, it's the depth again.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of nicks and knacks that they need to change in that England squad, I think. And a lot of that was proven during the game on Saturday against Nigeria at Wembley. For example, I think Danny Rose, for me, he can't compete against Ashley Young for the starting slot.
I'm surprised he even came on.
Because he just looks so out of place. Like, I imagine him to play against Costa Rica later this week, but I can't see him starting ahead of Ashley Young. And I think, as well, in my opinion, Trippier locked down that right wing back position for England as well. And I think that defence is pretty much almost set. Maybe take Cahill out and put Maguire in. I'm not too sure why Maguire missed that game. I don't know if
they
anyone
said
else knows.
He might picked up an injury in training, from what I heard. But I don't know if that's
true.
But
I imagine, in 10 days' time or whenever England has their first World Cup game, he'll be in the squad. Elsewhere, I think for me, I was fully convinced that Dyer is not the right person to start in that holding midfield position on his own. If you're going to start him there, he has to be alongside Henderson, because I just wasn't convinced that he was doing enough. So I would stick Henderson there. And then, as you were talking about the attacking trio or quartet, whatever you want to have up there.
So just three men.
Yeah, a lot of people are still saying that Vardy potentially should have been starting ahead of Kane, not ahead of Kane, Sterling on that attacking kind of forward position. But it depends how you want to play it.
It's tough though, isn't it? Because they're both big players for England. So,
and I think Dele Alli's proven now that he should be in the starting squad moving forward, because he's got a lot of criticism over the past season at Tottenham, but whenever he's been in and around the England squad, whenever he's been brought on, or when he played against Nigeria at the weekend, he did really well. So I think he should definitely be in that starting lineup. It's just a question now of a couple of hinge players, a couple of on the fence players as to whether or not you start them. People like Jesse Lingard, is he good enough to be in the team? Is Sterling consistent enough in terms of a forward taking the chances on and looking to score? Because he did miss quite a few over the weekend against Nigeria. If he had scored one, I think that would have relieved a lot of pressure for him, because of course we know he's been in the news for the past week for a certain tattoo. But I won't get too much into that unless you want us to.
It was a sword, wasn't it?
No, it was a gun. But
trying to get someone out of that.
It's just a question of whether or not if you're going to start Sterling ahead of Vardy, if Vardy and Kane can work together. That's what I want to see now against Costa Rica. I want Vardy and Kane to start and see how they work together. Really,
I agree.
Because if you bring Vardy off the bench, he's going to be impactful because he's got pace and hunger.
My worry is substitutes options, because if they both start,
exactly.
If we're in the knockout stage, it's 90 minutes. I mean, you'd think. It's hard to say. You'd think they can play another half an hour, but footballers are not used to it. So.
Yeah, certainly high-paced game sometimes can take a lot out of you. But we know what Vardy can do off the bench for England, and that might be sitting in Gareth Southgate's mind as to, if I got 30 minutes left and we're drawing 1-1 against Belgium, I've got Vincent Kompany sitting back there with Vertonghen and Arndeveld, not exactly the quickest centre-backs in the world. If I bring Jamie Vardy on and start hoofing the ball over the top to him, a decent 6 or 7 times out of 10, he's going to take a shot and hit it towards the goalkeeper. So,
well, it's got Courtois in goal, so they could go between the legs.
But
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
I keep telling Courtois, get yourself a dress.
But from this England squad, I imagine against Tunisia and Panama, they'll start the way that they did against Nigeria, with a one defensive holding midfielder kind of guy. But then against Belgium, because we know the attacking threat that they can provide, I think it may go a bit more defensive and go on the counter-attack from that. That's what I took from the Nigeria game. That is that. Despite the second half performance where we were critically poor, we should still be able to get the job done against Tunisia and Panama with that kind of formation.
Jack, in the first half, England were attack, and it was a bit hard to believe, thinking, hang on a minute, we're normally a bit shaky no matter what time of the game it is, but Nigeria, a respectable team. They've done well in the last couple of years, but those kits, man, those shirts. I mean, they're rocking it there. If they don't, even if they go out the group stages, they've won the World Cup just because of that shirt.
I'm so glad you brought the kids up because I didn't watch the game. So
I could tell from your face. I was reading it and I thought I better come with something.
I just didn't seem interested in it. I mean, when I
What's
saw
international friendlies? It's hit and miss, isn't it?
Exactly, and then I saw, I was thinking, well, I know it's Nigeria and that, and they're going to the World Cup and that's great for them. But I still felt like I wanted to see the result and think England would win 3 or 4-0. I mean, they're at Wembley. They need to kick on and start this. I know they won the game, but they need to start the ball rolling, get some goals in, and get this team boosted for confidence. And I think if you go away from that game, yes, you won it, but to only win 2-1 isn't really a massive confidence boost that an England team needs. So,
but this is surely the realism of England football at the moment. It's coming out just on top, maybe, but the Iceland defeat was only 2 years ago.
It's still getting the job done if you think about it.
Yeah.
But
I'll take that as a win.
You have to take it with a pinch of salt though, because Nigeria are currently ranked as the worst African team in the World Cup, and Tunisia are ranked as the best African team in the World Cup.
We're going to lose 5-0.
So it's quite interesting, really, because we got these friendlies set up against Nigeria and Costa Rica, which is basically our practice for Tunisia and Panama, who are also a South American team. So it'll be interesting to see how we adapt against Panama and what kind of tactics we implement against them, just to see how potentially things could unfold against Costa Rica and not Costa Rica, sorry. The way around. It'd be interesting to see how we play against Costa Rica for then a tester for when we play against Panama in the World Cup group stages.
Joe, Costa Rica yesterday beat Northern Ireland 3-0. Quite a convincing win because Northern Ireland are quite, a good team at the moment. Okay, they didn't make the World Cup, but they made the Euros and they got a strong squad there, but just missed out on Costa Rica. We know what they did at the World Cup 4 years ago. They were quarter-finalists. So another team, even though it's just a friendly, another team not to be messed with.
Yeah, and they've got some interesting players as well, haven't they? Yeah, is Brian Ruiz still playing for them? Is he?
I think he is he?
Yeah,
he's not old anyway.
And Joel Campbell, who's still at Arsenal, believe it or not.
Is he still
at Arsenal? Because
he shined at that World Cup, and everyone thought that will get him the starting lineup.
Obviously, they got some good players. A good result yesterday against Northern Ireland, and to be honest, I was surprised by the scoreline. I thought it'd be a closer game than that.
Yeah,
they drew with us 0-0 back in 2014. Like you said, they made it to the quarterfinals. So that's something to go by. But
that was a depressing game. Playing against Costa Rica, knowing that they were going to make it to the knockouts, and we were already out.
That was between when we had Italy in the group as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. We had Italy and Uruguay, and we lost to Uruguay, and then we were out.
Yeah, we lost to
Suarez bit us twice by scoring twice.
Not theoretically.
Depressing time.
I forgot what the word is when you say
annoyed.
Yeah, I can't remember the word.
Well, don't say it because it might be a swear word.
When you say that something's happened that hasn't happened, but I forgot what it means. You said it.
An imagination.
Hypothetically, thank you, Jack. I was having a Jamie moment where you can't remember what you're going to say.
Jim Jam.
Obviously, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Yeah, you've had 2 of those now. Right.
It was good. It was good anyway. The World Cup last time round for Costa Rica. Fun to get to quarterfinals. I reckon going into this game, England might have got the result, but judging by the performance at the weekend, I did predict 2-1, and it was 2-1. But with their result yesterday, probably end up being a draw.
Wow, that's depressing, isn't it?
I'd like to say about Nigeria's kit, I'm not that much of a fan.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I like the shirt itself. I like the green pattern. It's just the sleeves.
I'll say this now. It's the best shirt of the World Cup.
There's
not many good ones out there.
I'm not a fan of the sleeves being black and grey or something.
I quite like Spain's shirt. That's all right with the yellow on the side, but I feel as though...
What do you think of England's?
It's rubbish, isn't it? It's always rubbish. It's just white and blue.
It's okay.
At least Mexico changed theirs with patterns all the time, but this time it's
what kind of pattern do you want on an England shirt? Do you want a cotton mill or something?
I want a face on it. I want a face of...
You want a bit of the Industrial Revolution on there.
I know. A pattern of the old...
A steam engine, maybe.
No. A pattern of the old... A lion, yes. Yeah. A lion, and actually go... Do what Gary Cahill does on the Lidl adverts and go, raw! And it's just
I'll tell you why Jack's got the good idea.
I'll tell you what, if Gary Cahill...
He's tapped into his inner James Milner and got his Ribena. Very pricey out to do it.
Oh, poor Jack. Boring pricey.